So, Dark has returned for a third and final season, and boy, it's going to be hard to let it go, but the thing about great art is knowing when you have to let it go and let it stand. Otherwise, you ruin it. And a lot of films and shows and franchises and whatnot didn't know when to walk away, and they get ruined by that. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. But I appreciate it because they give it a solid story, I'm hoping. I've not been disappointed yet. And so hopefully there's a satisfying resolution of some sort. I don't know what it could be or how it could be. Because even now, what the hell's going on here? Well, some things, you know. I mean, it's pretty much telling you. Now the aspect of alternate timelines or multiverse, if you will, but what's the difference between them? You know, would time travel create a multiverse, or is it just the natural aspect of how the universe works? That it's not really just there is no universe; it's always been a multiverse or something like that. But in this part, I'm assuming that yes, it's some sort of a bit of alternate timeline, which gets established. And it's one of those things where people trying to explain time travel. Well, how would that work? And it's the basic paradox of, well, you make your time machine, you travel back in time, and you inadvertently kill your grandfather when he's a young boy or young man, and therefore you never existed. But if you never existed, you never had the time machine to travel back in time to do this, so then you do exist, and oh, what happens? Well, what happens is there's a timeline where you don't exist because your grandfather died when he was a boy, and then there's the timeline that you originated from where that didn't happen. And so I kind of wondered, well, is the time traveler trapped in the timeline where he never existed and he's just a strange weirdo no one knows? Yeah, I don't know, but that appears to be the case for poor Jonas here. So now there's this alternate version of Martha who seems to know things, but I'm sure we'll find out she doesn't know it all. And she leaves Jonas in this new world where he's witnessing all these different aspects. And it's the interesting thing where they keep talking about the themes of it's like you're doomed to repeat this no matter what you do. And even though things change, and here certain roles have kind of shifted a little bit. I don't mean in that somebody has the job the other guy didn't, but you actually have someone who's deaf now that wasn't. Yeah, someone who was and isn't, and then you had the poor guy who lost his eye, but now he's lost his arm. He has both eyes, but. And then the soap operas that go on. I mean, there's still the two girls or two women now fighting over, you know, and he's chasing after his detective partner now, and all, boy, just on and on and on, and all that's great stuff. It fits in. Then there's like this dark sense of humor, quote, pun intended, amongst all the rather dreary somberness and the sadness of this, of a poor Jonas in this impossible position of just how sad everything is. And once again, well, now someone else is missing. Gee, I wonder what happened. And other mysterious manifestations that are yet to be explained, and all very well delivered, and you know, just excellent work. And also, one of the problems you get with things like this when you're dealing with time travel stories is that when you have a young cast, they're going to age out of the role rather quickly, especially young children. But in this idea that, well, things are different now, time has shifted and it's not the same, and people were born at different times than they were, and this sort of thing, well, there you go, that explains it. So yes, Jonas has now come to a world which was one of his main goal, that he thought to make it right was that for poor Michael never got lost. And but if he hadn't, then he wouldn't have gotten trapped back in time and became Jonas's father. So if that doesn't happen, well, then what does happen? Well, it's this different world. Although I would say that doesn't explain everything. But I guess, you know, we'll get there. Meanwhile, there's other mysterious things that manifest here. Strange woman in the woods covered in, I don't know what, is that blood or oil or what? 3 different versions of the same man, as a boy, as a middle-aged man, and as an old man, running around burning the house down that was from the last season, and then of course murdering a man in a wheelchair. And what are they up to? And so all of this, and then of course, Regina is now dead. We see her headstone, but now there's another time-traveling old woman, and of course it's Martha. She's the future version of Martha, and the Martha he loved and knew is dead. She died in the last season, and he's all devastated. And this other Martha appears. Well, she's kind of in the position he was in, where she's in this, time traveling stuff, and you jump between the eras of the current time, or 2019 at this point, and then the 1980s, and now the 1880s, where an older Jonas is there in his Nikola Tesla mode, looking like he's working on a new time machine, if you will, and that'll roundabout come to the point of the much older Jonas, who apparently has sort of revealed himself as the mastermind behind everything, and Jonas is all upset about that revelation, and that he's horribly scarred from time travel and whatnot, and we'll see how that all turns out. But this Jonas didn't know anything about this alternate timeline Martha, and she appears there, and he's all overcome and stuff, and she says, yeah, look, I'm not the Martha you think I am, and all that stuff. So, the sadness and all of that aspects, if you could go back and you could meet someone that meant something to you, if they died or it didn't work out, and also the rather haunting thoughts of, well, if only I'd done it this way, or I could have gone that way, this road and that path, I could have dated that other girl, all of that stuff is what's so fun to play with in this, but it's also heartbreaking, and it's impossible to escape that. So a very, very powerful series, and has maintained its excellence. I've only seen the first episode. I'm not going to binge it. I'm going to watch each one. So that's how I do things with, some for some of them. But the special ones, if you will. So off to a great start for this season, and we'll meet again for another review of this series after I've seen it, and highly, highly recommend it. It is absolutely excellent. And also, once you've seen it, you're spoiled, because so many other efforts, despite the massive amounts of money spent on them, just don't even come close to holding a candle to work like this. It just proves how lazy a lot of productions have gotten in just the concepts and ideas of plot. The money, the budgets, the special effects, all that's top notch and great and everything, but good Lord, just exploring ideas and letting a story work in its own organic way out of a character and whatnot, instead of being drowned down by superficial nonsense. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of shows and films are, and especially ones that are what you would think would have it easy because they're derivative of beloved franchises and whatnot, and still fail. So but there are alternatives, and boy is this one of them. So yes, Dark. If you haven't seen any of it, get started. And I'm gonna have to rewatch all of it when I'm done here, because there's a lot of stuff to see in this, and it's gonna take some doing. But what a ride it is. Alright, thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. Hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.